Welcome back, my YouTube family. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today we're going to go through my first powerlifting meet. And through my experience, I'm going to help you guys and take you guys through your first powerlifting meet. What to expect, the do's and don'ts, and a few tips and tricks I have up my sleeve. If you're interested in having a successful powerlifting meet, make sure you continue watching. Let's get right into it. I've squatted over 750 pounds. I've benched over 500 pounds numerous times, and I've deadlifted over 750 pounds. All right, for those who don't know me, my name is Brendan Todd. I am a strength sport enthusiast. I've been competing in powerlifting since I was 15 years old. I've been lifting since I was 13 years old. I have squatted 700 pounds numerous times, benched over 500 pounds numerous times, deadlifted over 700 pounds numerous times. I have competed on a national and international stage, natural. And more importantly, I have helped numerous athletes compete and succeed in their strength performance goals. So today it is my pleasure to take you through my embarrassing first meet. All right, now powerlifting, what is it? Powerlifting is comprised of 3 lifts: your squat, your bench, and your deadlift. You're going to have 3 attempts at each of those lifts to get the biggest total possible. So what does that look like? So usually your first attempt at each lift is going to be like a last warm-up, right? Let's say if you were going to work up to a PR for that day, well, your last warm-up to that PR is probably going to be your first attempt. Then your second attempt is typically it's going to be something that you've hit before, maybe 95 to 100% of your 1 repetition max, your previous 1 repetition max. Then your third attempt is going to be either 100% of your previous 1 repetition max up to maybe 110% of your previous 1 repetition max. Now the goal is to win and to do well in the sport. So it's not always going to be like, hey, I'm going to PR every single time I go to a powerlifting meet, but that's the plan. And then whatever you get to the standard of that competition, you take the highest number of each of those attempts, you add them together for a total. That total is compared to other lifters in your weight class, and that's the sport of powerlifting. Now, there are certain rules to your squats, certain rules to your bench, certain rules to your deadlift. There's drug tested and then not drug tested. There's different federations with different rules and everything like that. But that is the basics. There's also things like DOTs and Wilks and body weight coefficients. But right now, this is your first powerlifting meet. All we have to do is focus on the basics. And the most important thing with your first powerlifting meet is focus on you. Right? We don't have to worry about comparing ourselves to other people. We just have to focus on ourselves. Right? So I'm going to take you through my lifts today and give you some tips. First things first is going to be this is my second attempt squat. So I'm going to show you my second and third attempts of my squat, bench, and deadlift for my first powerlifting meet. My first powerlifting meet is WNPF, World Natural Powerlifting Federation. It's like a backyard federation in New Jersey. Now the big natural federations today are like USAPL, Powerlifting America, and those are probably the 2 big ones. This is a natural federation, even though I don't think they drug tested us. But again, as you can see, it's backyard, meaning it's very local competitions. Now what we got here is 250 loaded on the bar. This is going to be my second attempt. Now, at this time, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anything. I didn't even know how to properly program. I was just a strong kid. I was going to show up to a powerlifting competition. I watched a couple videos, and I was like, all right, let's do this thing. I didn't have a belt. I did not have no knee sleeves, no wrist wraps. I had like Metcon shoes, like they're not even powerlifting shoes. It's quite something to watch. This federation too, they didn't use your standard typical competition kilo plates. They used like iron plates you get from any old gym. So my second attempt, first video we're going to see here, I think it was like 250 pounds. I think I'm 15 here. Get under the bar. you're gonna get a squat command in lifting. So with the squat, you're gonna have a few different commands to follow to make sure you get a good squat and you get 3 white lights. Let me take you into that. So for the squat, you're going to have a squat command and a rack command. So you'll pick up the weight, you'll either walk back, or this one I didn't have to walk back. I could just pick it up because it's a mono lift. And then they're gonna say squat. You have to squat down. You have to have your hip crease below your kneecap, and you stand up all the way back up. And then you're gonna get a rack command where either here they lower the mono lift down, or you walk into the rack and put the weights down. Now, if you jump any of those commands, you're gonna get red lighted. If you don't hit squat depth, you're gonna get red lighted. If you don't make the lift, you're gonna get red lighted. And red lighted means that it's not a good lift. And you have 3 judges telling you what is and what is not a good lift. Head judge, and then 2 side judges. Those 2 side judges are looking at you from the side to make sure you hit depth, and again, everything checks off and it's all clear. The head judge is going to give you the commands and is going to make sure you hit depth from the front view, as you can see here. Now, to be honest with you, in your first powerlifting meet, you're going to be I was very nervous. I was so nervous. And I was looking out in front of the crowd of like 10 people there. It was not very big. Actually, it was probably more than 10 people, maybe 20, 30. And you're like not really listening. And you're gonna see here, they gave me a lot of leeway with these commands. And if you're competing in something like USAPL or Powerlifting America, or like an IPF affiliate, if you're living in another country, they're probably not gonna give you that leniency with your commands, all right? So anyways, that one checked out, all good, ready to go. As you can see there, probably too light. I moved it so fast. It was like there was nothing on the bar. At the time, I didn't understand fatigue. I didn't understand peaking. I didn't understand programming for a powerlifting meet. And that's why a lot of these weights are just moving so fast and so easy, which they never did for me beforehand. I just kind of did like what I thought I could do prior, right? But because I kind of took some time off and I unknowingly peaked myself for the meet, everything was moving way too easy. So next up is going to be my 3rd attempt squat. You're going to do all your squats, and then all your benches, and then all your deadlifts. So 3rd attempt squat here, and I think this is 275. Now, if you go on powerlifting, openpowerlifting.com, I believe this meet said I did 315, but I don't know. Anyways, this guy, again, moved way too fast. It looked like a warm-up. There was no grind, there was nothing. That bar speed is like an RPE or sub 5, way too easy. The depth was there, the command listening was there, but it moved too fast. And you see that a lot with lifters who are very new and they don't have a coach into their first powerlifting meet. A lot of times they just kind of go in there and either lift way too light or they would lift way too heavy and they like max out on their first attempt. Could have definitely had more there, but that's all right. I was learning. I was 15. I won the world championship in WNPF. After that, we're going to go on to the bench press. Now, bench press, you have a few different rules. And again, this is going to be based on your federation. But in general, you need your butt, your back, and most of the times your head onto the bench, your feet on the floor. A lot of times you can be up on your toes. A lot of times you have to be flat on your feet, right? You need those points of contact. I recommend most of my lifters to have feet flat on the floor, butt on the bench, obviously back on the bench, and head on the bench. That's, to me, the most stable position. You're gonna unrack the bar, and you're gonna often get a lift off if you like. Unrack the bar, you're gonna listen for the head judge to say start. You can lower the bar down to your chest, hold for a pause. Now that pause is not like, oh, I'm gonna hold here for 1 second, then I'll get the press command. They're looking for that bar to be motionless on the chest. So if you hit the chest and you kind of start sinking in, they're not gonna give you the press command. So you have to hit the chest, boom, be nice and solid, nice strong pause, then you get a press. You push the bar back up, then you get a rack. If you jump any of those commands, you're gonna get a red light. If you don't get it, you're gonna get a red light. If you have a down and up, so that means you're pressing, and let's say your right arm misgrooved and you kind of went down and back up and then you finish pressing out, you're still gonna get a red light for that too. I know it sounds complicated, but it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple for most lifters. Start, press, rack. Very simple. Make sure you're nice and solid. The biggest thing I see is people jumping that press command. If you jump the press command for your first or your second attempt, really, if you miss a command, if you miss a lift on a command for your first attempt, that's usually when it happens, I really strongly recommend repeating that attempt for your second lift. A lot of times I see lifters, they don't repeat, they go heavier, and then they miss. You don't, especially if this is your first meet and you have to listen and think about a little bit about the commands, well, then we don't want to be overbearing with the weight. Anyways, for my second attempt bench press, I forgot what this is. I think it was like 250, 255. Lower down, press up, nice and easy. A couple things you're gonna notice, my grip is way close. It's like a close grip bench press with my long arms. Again, like I said, I didn't have a coach. I didn't know any better, and I had no good programming either. But generally, I would say you want to have your wrist over your elbow. Find what's most comfortable, but wrist over your elbow, a little bit stronger position if you go out a little bit wider here. But overall, moved pretty well for a 15-year-old kid. After that, my third attempt was 275 on the bench press, which was, I believe, definitely a PR for me. I remember not having hit this weight before. You're gonna see it's gonna start in the middle. The video is starting in the middle of the lift here. Lower down, nice solid pause, press, pushing up, grinding through, and then wrap. Felt pretty good, ready to go. But hey, not a lot to say other than coaching was needed that day. That what I would say would be, though, a good third attempt. You see that grind there? See how it wasn't super easy? I had to fight for it. That's a good third attempt. You want to be able to get it, but fight for it a bit. All right, now let's move on to our deadlift. Deadlift here, 315 on the bar. And again, this is gonna be a big no-no. One, my feet are a little bit wide. Two, I have a double overhand grip, like this. I'm grabbing like this. With the bar, if you go double overhand, the reason that's hard is the bar likes to roll in your hands. It will kind of like peel your fingers off. So that's why you see people doing alternating grip. The reason you do an alternating grip is the bar is no longer rotating your hands. You can get more secure grip, or you can do a hook grip where you put your thumb down and then wrap the fingers around it. Again, this is a more secure grip. Double overhand, you're gonna be limited by your grip strength. And if you're limited by your grip strength, that means that your glutes, hamstrings, back, and all of that is not going to be able to push at maximum. And because of that, I could probably have done a lot more. And you're going to see the bar moved like there was nothing on the bar. It was just super easy. Even a lady said it was like, put some weight on the bar. With the deadlift, you're going to only have one command, and that's the down command. You're going to walk out there, you're going to pick up the weight, stand up straight, squeeze your butt, squeeze your legs. They're going to give you the down command, you put the weight down. That's the big thing, squeezing your butt and squeezing your legs, standing up straight. A lot of times I'll see lifters, they go to lift and they kind of like overarch their lower back, and then they get soft knees where the knees are not completely locked out. You're not going to get a down command, and maybe if you do get a down command, because from the front it looks good, the side judges are going to give you a red light. So you need to make sure you're fully locked out, standing up straight. But overall, the deadlift, pretty simple on the commands. After that 315, I went on to 360. Now, you can see here a couple things. One, the inner plate is a 100-pound plate, iron plate, and the outer plate, is probably just a 45 there. And this is, again, another big thing, and why you need a coach is because this bar moved way too fast. This is your third deadlift. Usually on the third deadlift, you need to, you want to grind. This is where you kind of, your squat and your bench, because they're more technical lifts, you want to make sure you got that third attempt, basically. For the deadlift, obviously we want to make sure too, but this is where your body can be a little bit more YOLO. Your deadlift is also hindered a lot under fatigue. So while you're training, you're building up some level of fatigue, and your deadlift is going to be the most affected by that fatigue due to the simplicity of that lift. So then when you drop the fatigue in your peak for the meet, on your taper and peak for the meet, a lot of times you can deadlift a lot more than you've done in training. When I've deadlifted 750 pounds for the first time, the most I ever pulled in training, I think, was like 710. And that was like an RP 10 grind. So you can usually, once you drop that fatigue, usually pull a lot. And I didn't know that, and that's why 360 went up like butter. At least I got an alternating grip done right. Um, After that, won the championship, the world championship. Obviously, it's a very small federation with not a lot of people competing in it, so take it how it is. I think I was competing against just myself. But overall, it was a very awesome experience. The community in powerlifting is pretty great. You meet a lot of great people who are very interested and in love with strength, and that's what I'm in love with too. So if you guys are looking for your first powerlifting meet, make sure you reach out to me, tankstrengthcoaching.com, with any questions. If you guys don't have a coach, I really strongly recommend it, especially if you're interested in actually competing. It makes the biggest difference. A lot of people I see will invest in like some fancy shoe, some fancy belt, something. The first thing you should invest in is a good coach. That's how you actually get stronger. Not the shoe you wear, not the clout you have on the gram. It's actually training smart. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. Looking forward to hearing from you. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's get it.